And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be carrying on the main story for Shadowbringers. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So we are here in the Novaran, apparently. we're in the room for the Crystal Exarch. So we actually have a choice of two branching quests. We can either search for Alphinaud or Elise. I'm going to search for Alphinaud first. So the quest is called In Search of Alphinaud. The Crystal Exarch is eager for you to meet with Alphinaud. So you will visit Alphinaud in Lucia then. Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here is a letter of introduction. Present it to Sevs Degener, the master of beasts at Temenus Rookery, and he will take care of you. When you see Alphinaud, be sure to pass my warmest regards. Cool. So let us go. So I don't know if I'm actually supposed to go which way I'm supposed to go. So once I find out, we will continue. Okay, so we made it to Sven. So let's talk to him now. So your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? The letter of introduction. A letter of introduction addressed to Zem and signed by the Crystal Exarch. Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an amaro for passage to Lucia. I will pick you out a fresh whelp. Or a friendly one. An amaro, you say? That's right. Mounts like my grey friend over there are a common sight in these parts. But I gather you hail from further afield, more accustomed to chocobos, perchance. I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding Amaro, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Any unworthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me. Ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Amaro launch. One of the junior tamers will attend to you while I ready the mounts. Cool. So where do I go? Check the map. Okay, so I need to go over there. So once we're there, we'll continue. Okay, so we arrived. So let's now talk to the aspiring Amaro tamer. So you want to fly an Amaro to Lucia. Well, I suppose if Master Dejme is going with you. Wait here, please. The Master should be along with the mounts shortly. You can now travel to Lucia, speak with the aspiring Amaro tamer to fly to the island. You can also use your Aether compass to assist with locating Aether currents in new regions. Should you lose this compass, speak with Jesren at the Amaro launch in the Crystarium to obtain another. Lost compasses can also be replaced by speaking to Gilberon at the Forgotten Knight in Foundation back in Ishgard. So the Aether currents is what you need to unlock flying in the zones, but we'll get onto that in a future episode.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
Lindblom. Awesome. Okay. Let's talk to him. So we are arrived. This is Cragshell Beach on the eastern coast of Colusia. You should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sin Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. Spy you that city in the distance? That is Alphinaud, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystallum in scale, but was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Almoran Elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystallum is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Ermor is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I'm glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. Okay, so that's complete. Okay, the next quest is called A Still Tide. Whatever Sam has to tell you, he plainly deemed it worthy of your undivided attention. Interesting weather. So if you head south along the coast, you will eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of Crystallum lives there, a man who goes by the name of Eibor. Eibor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Colusia and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme, and that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Armoro until you're ready to return. Okay, so we have to go to there. So once we get there, we will continue. And I'll also visit the Aephorite on the way, if I can. Okay, so we made it to Eibor, so let's talk to him. So, what are you after? Fish? Crab? I think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere, if you've a taste for him. So let's hand over the lake thyme. A fragrant herb commonly found growing along the floodplains of the source. Oh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavour. Now what is it I can do for you? I can't say as there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. Alphinaud, eh? Aye, I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Elmore's richer than all of Nervaran put together. But it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet. Away from prying eyes. Make for a Still Tide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You're looking for a rundown excuse of a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphinaud joins you. Cool. So we have to just go into the town, which I just went into ironically. So once we're in the town, guys, we will continue. Okay, we've now made it to the tavern. So let's go in. Okay, we have to click this destination. Let's go. So, this is your first time in a tavern. It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What will you be having? Water. A fine choice. And what will you be paying with? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by those coins like that? I'm sorry dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity. And I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbours. So we'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say, a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. Okay, so let's see how far we need to go. Okay, so once we get there, guys, we will continue. Okay, so we made it to the field just north, so let's see if we can find... Okay, so... I guess they do it better in this game, because if it was other games, like WoW for example, you'd be fighting for these mobs over so many people. Okay. Suppose my DPS is not that bad. Could be better, of course. Right, next one. Okay, let's go. They're done. Well, I thought I was done. Let me try again. Maybe it bugged out or something. Ah, okay. So actually was supposed to kill 2 of them. Fair enough. Okay, there we go. Right, so knock on the door. So let's knock on this door right here. So no response. Maybe you need to knock louder? No response. Perhaps the occupant is hard of hearing? Okie dokie. Knock on the bar door a 3rd time. There we go. So you hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. So no one is home. And judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. Okay, interesting. So we have to go back now to Tiva. So as we're with Tiva, we will continue. Okay, here we go. into the madness. So, welcome back, dear. What did that good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Gone? Must have left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Galetown, outside Ulmore? You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house. H2O.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
There he is.
'Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alphinaud, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
Interesting outfit.
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. But the time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well.
So, me, I was more worried about you. We thought we'd lost you.
Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral Calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being sin eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure?
Yeah, why not?
And so we take to the road once more.
Okay. So let's complete that quest. Okay. Next quest is called Open Arms, Closed Gate. And we will get a level 385 belt. So Alphinaud is ready to take to the road once more. So assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we time our arrival just right, we may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Ulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, from here we must head west, then cross a small bridge. Okay. So let's see where he wants to go. Okay, that way. So once we get there, we will continue. Okay, so we just travelled west over the bridge, and here is Alphinaud. Let's talk to him. So, Colucia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar. I had a similar impression of the Crysturium. Even in the distant world, people are much the same. To think that whenever calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. No, get away from me. Over there. Quickly, someone's in trouble. Okay, let's go. So, just a little bit north. To save damsel in distress, it seems. Okay, let's go. I guess I'll summon my chocobo for no whatever reason, you know what I mean? Oh, thank the fates. Look out. Okay. Okie dokie. For my poor heart, thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings, but I see that you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you alright, madam? Just a few bruises from when I fell. Nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. Honestly, thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Elmore with the rest of them. I doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life. Now, I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's naught to be had here but cobwebs and memories. So, 'tis as the lady says, many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Elmore's shadow. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, they are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? A brief history then. 'Twas not long after the flood swallowed the better part of the world that the Sin Eaters first appeared, some beastly, some beauticious. Yet, regardless of their form, all seem incapable of speech, and all are driven by the same insatiable appetite for mortal aether. They are predators, and we are their prey. Colusia suffers from far fewer attacks than most regions, but even so, the list of Sin Eater victims grows longer by the day, a tragedy without end. Still, we have won a small victory this time, at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path that leads west. Okay, so we need to go to there. So once we get there, guys, we will continue. Okay, so we made it to Alphinaud, just outside of Elmore. So let's examine the destination and let's see what happens.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Ulmore itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
Why not?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please!
Uh-oh. Are they the jesters from Final Fantasy IX?
Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all. Ulmore extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu. Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all.
Was there anyone?
What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Ulmore was a center of power and authority? well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Eulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
I mean, I'm a level 70 Culinarian, does that help? I'm a level 70 Fisher as well.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the City of Splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor.
Almost reminds me of like the Hunger Games. Like,
oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident. For you. Enjoy.
Thank goodness.
Over here.
Meal is a foodstuff which Eulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gatetown, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity. Yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let's just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
I mean, it's the way they subjugate the people. Okay. Meow. Right. So let's now talk to Master Alphinaud. So now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Ulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet, from what I have seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I have tried to propose ways they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gatetown and judge the situation for yourself. Okay. So let's take a look around town, shall we? So, 1 behind us, and then 2 in front. So let's do this. Sorry. Let's talk to this person first. So, still here, are you? I can't blame you for wanting a slice of Ulmore's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sore-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gatetown's not much to look at, eh? But at least it's safe. And the meal is the best thing I've ever tasted. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so we have to go, it says go up to find them. So we'll see if there's like a staircase or something. There's Aether Current there. I'll worry about the Aether Currents when I make my Make my guide, that's what I usually do. Okay, let's look at the bubbling cook pot. The large pot bubbles over the flame. Pale chunks, meal you realise, float in the otherwise plain broth. Okay. Now, these random world quests, I always leave them for second classes. I don't do them on the main. On the main, I just rely on the EXP from the story quest. That's just the way I've always done it, and it seems to be working so far. Okay, that's the sightseeing log. Again, we'll do that later. So just look at that. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that waits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? Okay, fair enough. So let's quickly go back to Alphinaud. I'm curious what the inside of the city is going to look like, to be honest. Because I saw in the trailer the sort of citizens that live in there. You know, the fat cats, the overly rich, probably pompous people. Okay, let's talk to Alphinaud again. So, you've seen what Gate Town has to offer. These people can no longer fend for themselves. They've become dependent on handouts of Miol and believe Elmore is the answer to all their woes. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable to conceive of any other way of life. Interesting. So, let's complete. Let's use this belt. Righty. Let's wear it. Okay. Let's talk to Alphinaud again. So the next quest is called A Fickle Existence. Alphinaud wears a look of profound disapproval. You disapprove of people's way of life. You disapprove of Elmore. It's difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing these cities' inner workings. Mayhap it is uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters, however. Unjustice system seems to me, if these people claim to be content with their lot, it is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forgo Elmore's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gate Town, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and untended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Elmore's generosity truly serves the best interests of Lucia's people. I am not so naive as to think that there are some miraculous solution to all of this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by the hand of a capricious noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure. However, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Elmore's gates, 'tis fortunate that you arrived when you did, Mithrie. I have been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city, and if all goes to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There is a beast tribe that makes its home in the seas surrounding the island. The Ondo, they are called, though you and I know them as Sahagin. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their in the ocean grottos, and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon me, during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold. So I reached out to them. I duly discovered that the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded El Moron lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plumes and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. Yeah, I remember that. So, my appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them in the store. Might you help me make the exchange? Why not? Excellent. I shall be glad of your company. First things first then, we must pay a visit to Mosha Moa, my supplier in Right. Come, it is just to the northwest of here. There's always someone to interrupt the plan, isn't there? Okay. So we need to go. Well, okay, we need to travel quite a far way to Right. So once we get there, guys, we will continue. Okay, guys, so we made it to the town Right. We also attuned ourselves to the Aephorite. So let's talk to Mosha Moa. So is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Mosha Moa. This is my associate, Mithrie. We are here to collect the produce I purchased. Oh, I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Mr. Lad, short blue hair, no? He said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confound it, someone must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. If this charlatan was here not long ago, he cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point to the south side of the town, and I shall take the west. Okay, so they effectively wanted to steal the idea so that they could probably get into Elmore themselves rather than us. So they opportunistic thief, basically. Like I said, it's bound to happen because as much as they might pretend they're happy in that town, they're obviously desperate to move out of it as well. So search the surroundings for a male Mistle with short blue hair. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Targets likely suspect. Inspect him with left click. Okay, you have located your quarry. So, Mithrie, any sign of him? So, you've a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes good his escape. Okay. So, let's go. So, once we get there, guys, we will continue. Okay, so we were able to catch the blue-haired Mystil up. So, let's talk to him.
There you are. The thief who claimed the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kai Shear.
Tell me then, Kai Shear, must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmoran's interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kai Shear, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless?
That's not who you are. Quite possibly, meaning we'd better hurry up and think of a new plan.
I suppose not. Were a Stinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alphinaud, ever the slave to sentiment.
But I thank you for your kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Rite then? Is that... I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on, they may need our help.
Wow. Okay, so where are we going next? We have to go all the way over there. So once we get there, guys, we will continue. Okay, here we are. We made it to the beach, so let's see what's going on with this person. So that should take care of the worst of his injuries. Mercy, I beg you. So, breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you here. The poor man is shivering. Pray keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. So I thought for certain I was dead. How am I ever to repay this kindness? I will settle for the tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you begin by telling us your name? Tristol. I was invited into Elmore to work as an artist. A wealthy couple took me in to paint pictures for them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out onto the street. I was left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord Vayfry's city. Within days, they had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told him that I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade into the goddamn ocean. From up there, how were you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me, luck I suppose, though if you hadn't found me when you did, it wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous, and the citizens condone such barbaric punishment? Oh, and without a second thought, when Lord Votries passes judgment, no one so much as blinks, let alone argues. In Elmore, his word is law. Interesting. Okay, let's talk to Alphinaud now. So the more I hear about Elmore, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all thoughts towards securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. But first, we should convey Tristol to shelter of the village. Fire or no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. So, away into the city. Okay, so let's teleport back to right and finish off this quest. Okay, so this way. Shouldn't be too far. But there he is. So, pray accept my deepest gratitude. I owe you both my life. And if you'll permit me, I would assist you in your attempt to enter Elmore, insofar as I am able at any rate. To be frank, the thought of sending my saviours into that awful place makes me sick to the stomach. But since it's plain you've set your minds on it, you should take this. It's my favourite paintbrush. The Elmorian elite are never satisfied until they get exactly what they want, and if I'm not mistaken, the couple I mentioned will be looking for someone to replace me. If you make a show of owning such a well-used brush, you may be able to convince people that you have a talent for painting. Are you certain? This is your livelihood. We cannot deprive you of such a treasured possession. I give it gladly after all you've done for me. Besides, I can't. I don't think I have the heart to paint anymore. As to what I'll do instead, I honestly haven't decided, but I shan't stay long in this place, not with that city brooding over me. Nay, I'll move on to the new lands and a new profession, and I'll keep you in my prayers from now until my dying day. So, I think that's a good time to stop the episode, guys. I think we've done quite a lot now. So, anyway, guys, if you liked that episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can watch a random video over there. You can watch the latest upload down there. Or you can click down here to subscribe. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.